Good morning. I kind of realized on this morning's walk that I said I was going to be doing these Wisdom Wednesdays. I think I did one and then didn't do another one since then. But yeah, I don't really have a good excuse as far as why I didn't do it. I just didn't do it. So there's been a common theme coming up in a lot of my sessions working with people recently, and people are kind of reflecting on why they're struggling to make changes in their life. And it got me thinking about, okay, so how did I get to a place where I was able to start making changes and, having successes and those things. And what it came up with is a relationship to self. So there was a point in my life where I hated myself so much that I tried to kill myself, right? And then from there, I got to a place to where I could tolerate myself. And then from a place of being able to tolerate myself, I started finding things that I liked about myself. And then from the place that I found liking myself, I got to where I could love myself. And it wasn't until I got to a place where I loved myself that I felt like I was of value to actually make changes in my life and stick with things. Because that first relationship to self dictates how we show up in relationships with other people, right? And so if I don't love myself, how can I expect other people to love me in my life, right? I may seek that out, right? But it usually showed up in unhealthy ways and unhealthy relationships. Because I didn't have a standard that I set for myself, so why would I do that with other people? And so for myself, that was probably, the transformation that profoundly helped my life head in the direction that I wanted it to, is I felt like myself was worthy of having the things that I wanted and achieving goals, right? Otherwise, I would just self-sabotage, right? Instead of doing the things that would be helpful, right? I would set these goals and then I would fail them, and I would revalidate, why I wasn't worthy of whatever it was, that I was trying to achieve. And I kind of stayed in that repetitive rut with things. And it wasn't until, I changed that relationship to self, and it started honestly with the way that I spoke to myself, right? Very commonly, we say things to ourselves that we would never say to somebody else, right? I would curse at myself. I would say, I was stupid, or a failure, or a fuck up, or whatever, right? And it wasn't until I started changing or giving myself a little bit more grace or forgiveness, or thinking about, I wouldn't say this probably out loud in front of somebody, and I definitely wouldn't say it to somebody else, that I recognized I had to start changing that relationship. So yeah, here's your Wisdom Wednesday, I guess number 2.